Hello Internet, I'm KrissieDeathy and today I'm going to read you guys Chapter 8 of Granpa's Way by Anya Hibiki. And Chapter 8 is titled Living Together. Evening fell on the quiet house. The owners hadn't returned yet from their stroll and Yukio found herself unable to continue with her reading. Glancing at her idiotic fiancé, she found that he had fallen asleep on the couch. Sighing, she wondered why she had spent the whole afternoon with that stupid book. She knew it was because her mind was somewhere else, but her eyes were tired and she didn't want to think about anything at all. Yukio started to worry about Ryoga's parents. They had left barely past midday and it was already evening. She couldn't even start dinner because they had to bring the groceries yet. And she was starting to feel uneasy. Jumping up to the stairs, she went to her room and stared at the bed. There was no way in hell she was sharing again with that jackass. She just had to find a solution. She couldn't only cut the bed in two, but she could find a way to separate it. She just needed something that they could put at night and take off at the day so Aiko didn't find out. But what? She glanced at the folding screen next to the wardrobe and grinned mischievously. There it was, all flexible and made of paper. Perfect. Carefully ripping off the wooden frame, she then stretched it onto the bed. Now, all she needed was a way to attach it to the wall so they could hold it flat at daytime. Nails. A light bulb suddenly appeared above her head. I'll nail it to the wall. I'm such a genius. Rushing to the basement, she idly wondered if the Hibikis had any toolbox. His parents had come home late that evening. It turned out to be that, unaccustomed to the neighborhood, they got lost. Funny. Dinner was eaten rather late, but he wasn't all that sleepy since he had had such a nice nap. Though it ended abruptly due to some hammering noises coming from upstairs. When he got to investigate, he found his fiancée sitting on the bed, looking innocently at him. He'd just shaken his head and turned off. Now that it was bedtime, he went to change after a nice shower and found himself almost stripping to nothing in front of his snickering roommate. Blushing, he wrapped the towel around his body. Where's the screen? Looking from behind her book, Yukio just shrugged. Taking his clothes, he walked hurriedly to the bathroom, muttering about crazy females under his roof. Turning off the lamp when he got in the bed, she giggled annoyingly and chirped a good night. Then there was this swoosh sound, and Ryoga found himself staring at that paper screen when he turned to respond. A whole silent minute passed by before he dared to ask, Yukio? Yeah? Came the almost giggling reply from the other side. The screen. Very smart, huh? But Mom, did you notice before? No. She won't either. Night. Oh, okay. Shivering at the thoughts of motherly punishment if she actually discovered it, he went to lock the doors and forgot that they were sliding paper doors. Damn it. He needed to come up with some sort of lock for them. Lunch hour at Purican High School to be a mess if Lunch hour at Purican High School tended to be a mess if you were around Rama. Most of the time, it started with Shampoo showing up to bring Rama lunch, which most of the times was spiced with a little something, getting Akane into beating jerk mode, then followed by Moose hugging somebody who he thought was his Shampoo, most of the cases Ranma over Akane, and accusing him of trying to steal his bride. Then it would follow Kadoshi, trying to feed him something she calls food, then her brother would appear to smite the sorcerer Satome and free the picture goddess in the fair Akane Tendo, who was at this point is at murder the pervert mode, and then out of the blue would hump Ryoga into the fin of Kane's honor and kick Rama's butt. Or try to. Yukio laughed sitting on the table. It all had happened exactly like that today. Well, she knows that she didn't jump in to offer him okonomiyaki as she usually did, and Ryoga hadn't appeared either. But it'd been near a month since they stopped those antics. It had all changed so much since the engagement was announced. Now that she wasn't part of that craziness anymore, she felt like she was left out. Of course, Rama had been acting all friendly and all, but actually he seemed to be far more interested in hanging out with Ryoga than with her, which brought Akane closer to her, trying to develop their things in common into a nice friendship. She didn't complain, but rather enjoyed when Akane went on and on about the stupid and perverted things Rama did, and how she had to deal with the other fiancés and stuff, what caused her to wonder guiltily if she had been as pain in the ass as the others were. Akane huffed as she plopped herself down next to Yu-Gi-Oh, her arms crossed on her chest, her brows knitted in anger. Honestly, does that boy know any limit? Like I care if he eats their food, but at least he should tell me before I go and cook for him, right? She looked expectantly at the chef, who was trying to finish her lunch. Yeah, she just answered, knowing all too well that disagreeing with her at that point was a dreadful mistake. You're lucky Ryoga hasn't got any other fiancés. You don't know how frustrating that is, she sighed. Yep, I have that jackass all to myself, she snorted when she found, and I know exactly how frustrating it is. Akane looked sheepish. Sorry, I forgot. It's hard to believe that we were on different sides not too long ago. The pretty chef smiled. Yeah, we get along pretty well, huh? The short-haired girl nodded enthusiastically, earning a giggle from her friend. I always thought that if I had to be friends with one of all of his fiancés, it would be you. Somehow I feel the same way, she agreed, looking at the chaos that was not too far from them. She swung her book back from side to side, bored. Another day at school had ended. Not that there were many left, and now she would go home and find something to do. They were building the new JoJo in the lot behind Ryoga's house. She wasn't used to calling it her own yet, and it was already halfway finished. What had got all the men's attention? Even Rama was walking by her side right now to get to the Hibiki residence on time to help. Yep, that's right. Rama was as obsessed as the others were with the new JoJo. He even piped in with a few helpful ideas. Not that Ryoga was too happy about it anyway. Today it would be even more boring, because Akane hadn't been able to go along with them, since she had to help Kasumi with some errands she had to do. Though she couldn't complain too much, because now she didn't have to spend quality time with her fiancés like her grandparents advised. Thank the gods they had started with the JoJo the next day she moved in. That kept Ryoga occupied for the entire day and would fall asleep immediately when they went to bed. The past 3.5 weeks had been like that, and she would get up early to go to school, come back in the afternoon, help around, or go to a restaurant, spend time with her mother-in-law, which she really enjoyed, have dinner, and go to bed. It wasn't that she was having a bad time, but she really missed her restaurant. When she was living alone, she barely had any time for her own. The restaurant and school took all of her time, and she even managed to slip a few hours to chase Rama in her tight schedule. Now she had a lot of free time and nothing to do with it. Of course, there had been a few incidents involving her fiancé that kept her entertained for a few hours, like the little fights over the biggest pillow, or the time when she found her lamp mysteriously crushed under the bed one morning, which she hadn't wanted to turn it off the night before, or the 4 hours argument about whether to use lemon or vinegar on the salad, and the list went on and on. Though she wasn't learning to get along with him, not that she put too much effort into it, she didn't mind a little bickering. She couldn't bring herself to be all nice and sweet with him, not when she was so used to treat him differently. But it was his own fault, she reasoned, because he had this tenacity to get on her nerves every time they saw each other. And yes, she was used to hit him and yell at him, but the more she looked for a reason, the less she found one. She knew she overreacted the other day. She shouldn't have hit him so hard, but it really infuriated her what he did, even if it hadn't been his fault, or so he said. All she knew was that she woke up that morning and found her slumbering fiancé snuggling contentedly against her chest. A few spatulas that they had in a trip to the backyard through a window. Later, he tried to defend himself, claiming that it'd been actually her who crawled under the screen and was at his side of the bed, and that he had been deeply asleep, otherwise he wouldn't even dare to touch her. Of course, this only resulted in more spatulas to the head for being such a pervert that sought some sort of plan to make her do that, and the argument went on mercilessly until they ran out of reproaches and stopped talking to each other. So it had been 4 days of ignoring one another. Rama ran to a lot behind the house, throwing a rush "see you later" over his shoulder. Saying that the boy was excited was an understatement. Yu-Gi-Oh sighed unhappily as she found herself alone in the house. Apparently Aiko had to do some shopping and hadn't returned yet. She padded to her room and changed her uniform into more comfortable clothes. Stretching her arms up drowsily, she plopped onto the bed and set a pillow comfortably under her head. The window was open, facing the little backyard. She could hear the male voices saying nothing in particular, just plain murmur. It was quite soothing, actually, the different deep tones that made their voices. She could easily recognize them. Kita had a deep and low tone in his voice. She liked it. It was very masculine, you could say. Her father's was harsh, even when he was saying something nice. She assumed that it seemed that way to her because it's the way he always had talked to her. Rama's was high-pitched and boyish, as if it always contained laughter. But it was firm and steady when he talked seriously, and surprisingly soft and quivering when he talked about Akane. She giggled. Had she been so blind? Then she heard Ryuga's voice. It was like Kita's, but a little bit boyish. It was deep, low, but soft. Hearing his voice, you could guess that he wasn't a boy anymore, but a young man, and that realization made her feel weird. Having a fiancé like Rama was easy. All she had to do was make him happy. To make him happy is talk about martial arts and keep his stomach full. Something she could do with a hand tied to her back. In spite of having 18, Rama was still a boy and he wanted to keep it that way. It was like he didn't want to grow up, maybe because the end of high school was near and he had to keep his promise to the Tendo family. You could see that Rama loved Akane. It was a clear fact the sun is bright, but maybe he wasn't ready to marry her yet. Ryoga, on the other hand, had taken his engagement seriously and didn't care about the consequences, like having a fiancé that bites him and hits him all the time. She blushed guiltily, and that shows, even if she hates to admit it, responsibility and honor, and a great love towards his family. She assumed that he'd been forced to grow up earlier because of the lifestyle he had, like herself. Learning to take care of himself at a tender age and developing an honorable personality wasn't something easy to do, and he'd done it quite nicely, even if she hates to admit it again. He turned into a nice and caring and polite young man. Why that boy got so well on her nerves was a mystery to her. Maybe it was time to get back to the bickering. The silence treatment was really annoying. Ryoga entered his room quietly, for his fiancée was asleep and he didn't feel like dealing with waking her up. He walked towards the bathroom in tiptoes, careful of not making a single noise. He took a quick shower and exited the bathroom wearing his pants in case she had awoken. Sighing slightly as he toweled his hair off, he cast a glance at his fiancée. He took notice that she was on his side of the bed. Again, it had been already 4 times that he found her there. One of them with him in the bed, too. Reaching for a clean shirt, he came closer to her and observed her. Sleeping calmly, she seemed like a whole different person. Her face was relaxed, a few strands of her hair falling onto her face. She breathed slowly and even. Ryoga realized then just how calm and serene she looked, and wished she would be like that when she was awake, instead of the short-tempered, tomboyish girl she was. Seeing her shake slightly, he covered her with a blanket. The girl opened her eyes wearily as she felt herself being covered from the cold. Her stare rested on her fiancé's face, who seemed terrified of being punished. You were shaking, he said guardedly, immediately retreating. Thanks, she replied, tugging at the blanket to pull it above her shoulders. He was about to leave when her soft voice called him. Yeah, sorry about the other day, she offered sleepily, closing her eyes again. He smiled. I'm sorry, too. But she was already asleep. He shook his head and exited the room. Breakfast was made late since it was Saturday, and Aiko wanted to oversleep a little. The fact that didn't bother anybody in the house, since she tended to get up around 5. But this time it was Yukio who woke up first, and in the middle of the bed. She looked to the other side and found her fiancé sleeping crookedly in what seemed to be a very uncomfortable position. He seemed like he was desperately trying not to get close to her, but it was difficult since he had little space to lay on. For some reason, his feet were hanging off the edge of the bed. She giggled softly. Did he sleep that way so he didn't wake her up? She thought as she realized she was in the same position he found her the day before. That's nice of him. She took a quick shower and couldn't help but giggle again when she went to get her clothes. Ryoga had sprawled himself across the bed, snoring softly. Jackass, she whispered, slightly shaking her head. He groaned and lifted his head barely, one eye open. Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, she said from behind the screen, picking up her clothes. They had acquired a new one since Yuki had insisted so much. He hated dressing in their little back room. Tough explained to his mother the former one's fate had been funny. What time is it? Early. Go back to sleep, she ordered softly, thinking that he deserved a few more hours of rest. Did you hit me while I slept? Like lots. His voice was muffled by the pillow. What? She half laughed. He probably was aching all over due to his work at the dojo, the way he slept. I knew you'd get revenge, he groaned painfully. I didn't hate you, jackass, she chuckled. You just slept bad. He buried his face in his pillow, groaning. Will you stop that? It's annoying. I need a massage. Call Mom. She's still sleeping and I'm not waking her up. She walked to the little dresser and sat on the stool, brushing her hair before her bath. Yu-Gi-Oh! She ignored him. Yu-Gi-Oh! She kept brushing her hair, humming happily. Yu-Gi-Oh! What? Please? He looked at her pleadingly from his position in the bed, causing her to blush fervently. What? No way! She squeaked. It's just a massage, for God's sake. Besides, it's your fault I slept that way. I didn't ask you to let me sleep. You should have woken me up. Fine, he turned his head around and puffed annoyingly, trying to get back to sleep. She stared at him from the mirror. He was obviously annoyed, and his back and neck probably hurt like hell. It's not like I asked him to sleep that way, so it's not my fault. But it was terribly sweet of him, a little voice whispered. I still didn't ask him to. He didn't have to do it, considering the way you've been treating him, and still. But he can't want me to touch him. That pervert is just a massage. Besides, he's wearing his shirt. He shifted again, and she sighed, damp conscience. She crawled to the middle of the bed and placed her hands on Ryoga's back. I swear to God, Beaky, if you get any weird ideas, I'll beat you to a pulp, she warned. He turned his head around to look at her ironically, shook his head, and faced away. Aiko yawned lazily as she strode to the kids' bedroom, wanting to take Yukio to the grocery store. Her husband fell asleep peacefully since he'd been tired and it wasn't that late anyway. Reaching the door, she froze at what she heard, a hand halfway up the knob. Ow, Yukio, ow! Stop yelling, jackass. But you're squeezing too tight. It's not my fault you're this hard. Now stay still. Okay. And it is your fault I'm like this. Well, you shouldn't have done that last night. Is this better? Yes. Oh my. Red face, she decided to let the kids have their fun. Where's Yukio, dear? She's taking a bath. Maybe she's tired. You should slow down a bit, son. Kita snickered when it caused the boy to turn deep red. What? It's not, Dad. His father laughed at the look on his son's face. Relax, boy. I'm just joking. Not funny. Good morning, greeted the young chef. Have a seat, Yukio-chan. Breakfast waiting for you, Aiko chirped. You're in a good mood today, Mom. Yukio noted, the feelings of the last word new to her. Well, we found out yesterday that there's a fair in town. We're going this evening. Besides, I'll probably be your grandma soon, she added mentally, giggling. We haven't been in a fair in a while, right, Ryoga? As a family, huh? He looked up from his meal. Yeah, I guess. So it says. We're definitely going. The lady smiled, turned white. Yukio-chan, I have something you might like. Come to my room later, okay? Okay, said girl, nodded, curious. Ryoga shivered. He didn't like that smile. Later that evening, they were getting ready to go. Ryoga picked up a casual but nice attire and dressed in the bathroom, much to his annoyance due to the lack of a certain dressing panel, and now was waiting in the car with his father for the ladies. His eyes widened when he saw what his mother wanted Yu-Gi-Oh to wear. It was a white spaghetti strap dress that hung hugged her body from her modestly covered chest to her hips and flowed freely up to above her knees. She had a nice, soft white jacket to go along with it. They occupied the back seat, talking about how much fun fairs were and what a great time they were going to have. It was crowded, very crowded. Ryoga thought that if he'd been there about his sense of direction, he'd been lost for days, probably ending up traveling with the festival itself. His parents had gone to find something to eat, probably ice cream, knowing his mother, and had left him alone with Yukio. She seemed like she was having a good time, looking at all directions for what to do next. Apparently, fairs put her in a good mood. She hadn't yelled at him or at him, not even once. In fact, she was riding all the attractions with him. Not that it could be helped, since his parents had disappeared the minute they got there. Fiancé's quality time, his father had said, not wanting to ruin her mood, and by extension risk to being clobbered to the floor, he decided to keep his mouth shut and agree to everything she asked. Here, Yoga, she tugged at his jacket. Can we go to the Ferris wheel? Okay, I guess. They sat, albeit uncomfortably. The seats weren't that large. As the attraction started to roll upwards, a soothing feeling crept over them. It's beautiful, isn't it? She said, and he turned to her, her blue eyes lost in the city below. So many lights. Looks like the stars. They do. Seems like looking at the sky from above. Yukio smiled at the comparison. You know, back when I was in the road, I used to think that looking at the stars was closer to Ranma, because maybe he was looking at the same stars, and maybe he was thinking about me. He turned to look at her again, surprised that she would tell him something so private. Pretty stupid, huh? She smiled sweetly. Not really. I used to think the same about Akane-san, he confessed, blushing. Till a few days ago, stars were the only constant thing in my life. No matter where I find myself, they were there. Before I got to Narima, they were mine too. Then I found Ranma, and I had a restaurant and went to school and stuff, she shrugged. What's your constant in life now? Yuki stared and flushed when he realized what he said. Ryuki's big, stupefied eyes met his. I mean, 'cause of the engagement, you know, family and all. He trailed, looking away from her. Yeah, she agreed, looking away as well. I know what you mean. Getting off the ride, Yukio became amused when he stretched out his arm for her to take, his face blazing. We should look for your parents, she proposed, suddenly uneasy as to staying alone with him. They're probably eating ice cream somewhere, he said as he looked around. Isn't it a little cold for that? She asked as she tightened her jacket around her. Not for Mom, he chuckled. Let's go. Maybe we can find some dinner. The chef nodded as they started to walk towards the food stand. Yo, Chancita! A familiar voice called from one of the stands, waggling a cane around to call their attention. What's Granpa doing here? Seems like they have a new yachty. Yukio pointed out, nearing her grandpa. The kids! So good to see you here, Hana exclaimed from behind the banners, wiping her hands in her apron. When did you get this yachty? The youngest girl asked, a bit taken back. Oh, it belongs to the fair. We just rented it. She smiled at the long line forming behind them. Seems like you're doing good. Have a seat, kids. Akira chirped, handing a customer his takeout okonomiyaki. Where's Uncle Ichiro? Ryoga asked, glancing around. We left him in the restaurant. Someone had to keep it open, you know. Yukio switched up. Sometimes her family went a little overboard concerning business. But who was she to talk anyway? Her parents passed by a moment ago. Ryo-chan, Hana smiled at the boy. Aiko was eager to get to the ice cream stand, she giggled. Ryoga nodded knowingly. Thought so. They ate in silence, enjoying the swift smells of the spatulas against the grill and the coming and going of people. Yukio looked at her grandparents, obviously enjoying working together, and couldn't help but picture herself and Ryoga doing the same in the distant future. She had to admit that they were having a great time, not fighting all the time for nothing like they usually did. She could see he was trying to have a peaceful night and enjoy himself. Maybe that was why he still hadn't done anything stupid like put his foot in his mouth like a certain Satome boy usually did. Maybe we can have a nice time, if he keeps behaving like this, she sighed. Suddenly a purple blur attached itself to him. Iron! What are you doing with stupid spatula, girl? Shampoo yelled, glaring at the lady behind the grill, who returned the look, taken aback. What did you call me, child? Hana asked, not too kindly. You know spatula, girl. The Amazon blinked. Shampoo mistake, shampoo sorry. Hana nodded and resumed her work. The purple-haired girl blinked a couple of times, seeming to realize something. I haven't been working out, she asked as her hands explored, turning her face around, meeting a couple of wide-checked eyes. You know, Iron, she stated, unmoving. The thing was, Shampoo heard Rama was at the fair, so she had come chase, looking for him. Being so crowded, she settled or clamped down the first red Chinese shirt she saw. Unfortunately, Ryuga had decided to wear a long-sleeved red shirt, and being so close to the grill, he'd taken his jacket off. When Yukio saw an okonomiyaki cart and a red shirt sitting at it, she put 2 and 2 together and got 3. Lost boy, would you mind? Shampoo mind what? She asked, confused that she made no move to leave his lap. Getting off of me? The Amazon jumped 2 feet in the air, pretty much cat-like, and loomed all over him, furious. What are you doing with Shampoo? She asked. Me? You're the one who jumped onto my lap from nowhere. Shampoo thought you are, and Lost Boy fought for wearing red. Shampoo thought ramen was spatula girl eating horrible, horrible food. She's right over here, you know. What? She turned to see a very fuming chef. What do you mean, horrible food, you ramen tramp? She blinked her glare at the wide purple eyes looking at her. What are you looking at, Bimbo? You really spatula girl? She asked. She blinked again. Of course I am. The name's Yukio, by the way. The purple-haired girl took a step closer and peered at her face. You wear makeup, she stated. So? Her gaze traveled down. You grow breasts, she asked, perplexed, tugging at her cleavage, showing off the beginning of her bra. Yugo yelped and crossed her arms in front of herself. Ryoga clamped his nose. And you wear dress, Shampoo exclaimed, astonished, as she lifted Yukio's dress up in the air, leaving her legs and panties exposed. Yukio's nose couldn't take so much flesh and explode like a geyser. Luckily for him, Yukio was busy glaring at the Amazon and trying to cover herself to notice, so he had enough time to clean himself up before being spatulaed for peeping. Not that it had been his fault anyway. She was sitting in front of him. It was impossible not to look. The young chef slapped Shampoo's hand away. Then she punched her in the arm. Hard. Are you out of your mind? Why are you looking like woman? And what's that supposed to mean? I've always been a woman, you jackass. But you don't dress like a woman. You dress like man. Why wearing dress now? That's not of your business, Bimbo. Shampoo hummed, thinking, and looked at her again. Her face beauty with makeup, her hair carefully put up in a bun, the white dress embracing her figure, and her legs coquettishly crossed one above the other. Then her eyes went to the Lost Boy, clean and smelling good, wearing nice clothes instead of his usual travel one, his hair cut short and neat, both eating and sitting closely to each other, and got to it again. You scheming breakup plan again? What? Shampoo help. Maybe this time no go backwards like you usually do. Hey, the chef protested. We're not planning anything, Shampoo, Ryoga clarified before things got any more stupid. Do not know. Then why are you two doing this? Doing what, Bimbo? Don't call Shampoo that. Hey, you started. Shampoo don't. You said my food was horrible. Shampoo only say truth. You haven't even tasted. No matter. Would you two stop it already? Shampoo lump. Ew. Moose, get off of me. Stupid duck. Shampoo over here. Oh. So the boy put his glasses down his eyes. Hibiki, what are you doing? You're the one lumping onto me, stupid. Oh, right. Sorry. He said sheepishly as he let go, tightening his ropes. Examining the situation, Moose took notice that not Ramen or Akane were close, and that Shampoo had been yelling at Yukio, who, by the way, looked awesome, and Ryoga wasn't looking half bad either, both sitting together and having dinner like a cup. Finally, someone got bored. I am so sorry for ruining your date. Let's go, Shampoo, he started, pushing the Amazon away from them, bowing in apology. What Moose saying? Stop pushing Shampoo. What do you mean, date? Then something in her tiny brain clicked. Back to girl and Lost Boy dating? We're not dating, Yukio pointed out. You're not, Moose asked as he approached him again, Shampoo next to him. No, she affirmed. We're just engaged, Ryoga supplied. Oh, what? Both Amazon startled. How? Long story, the Lost Boy dismissed. Suddenly a glint lit up in Shampoo's eye. You mean you not engaged to Aaron anymore? Yukio nodded sadly. That's right. Oh, Shampoo's so happy. I bet. That means we're friends now, yes, she said, standing in front of Yukio. What? We no longer enemies, Spatula Girl. She bowed to the stunned ship. Shampoo will visit soon. Bye. And she took off, dragging a stuttering buck boy who tried to yell congratulations. The couple just stared at the retreating forms, wondering what the hell had just happened. And that is the end of chapter 8. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave comments letting me know if there are any other stories you would like me to read. Please let me know. Also, I recently got to 100 subscribers, so thank you all for that. And it's kind of sad nobody comments, so here's a question, because I will now be adding a question here at the beginning or end of all of my videos, so I can hopefully get to know you all slightly better. So, what is your favorite color? Please leave that in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye bye!